It's June 20, 2022. You're watching the 6:50 primetime newscast in the English language on Canal, the International. Thanks for joining us. My name is Gladys Ambudibang. Stay tuned for the headlines. The president of the Cameroon Bar Council is now known. He is Barrister Mba Eric Mba. He was voted today at an elective General Assembly. You will have his first reaction after his election in this newscast. And then we take you to the West region of Cameroon, where a man in Banka in the West region kills his wife. The reasons for his actions are still unclear, but neighbors say he was found of beating his wife mercilessly. That is a 23-year-old lady. And today is observed as World Refugee Day. It has been disclosed that Cameroon in 2021 had 936,767 internally displaced persons, amongst them 357,631 displaced by Boko Haram, abuses in the far north region 226,708 and 120,834 by insecurity in the northwest and the southwest regions respectively. And as part of activities to mark the day, refugees from other neighboring countries like Chad, the Central African Republic and Nigeria took part in a blood donation at the Lakentini Hospital to mark the day. You have the details in this newscast. Those are headlines. Stay tuned for developments. Good evening once again. We begin this newscast with the Bar Council elections. The new president is now known. He is Mba Eric Mba. He was elected today, voted today in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, at an elective General Assembly that saw him winning with 1,900 or 1,285 votes. A reporter in the nation's capital, Hyacinth, covered that event and now tells us more. Hyacinth.
It's all over here at the multi-purpose sports complex in Yaoundé, Council General Assembly, and the government up here with a new name and a new face at the head of the Bar Council. He goes by the name Batonier Eric Mba Eric, who just overwhelmingly won here with over 1,285 votes compared to his nearest challenger, Metro Memo Philip, who scored a total of 969 votes. And it should be noted here that during the day, during the start of the electoral process for Batonier, there were a lot of disagreements to an extent that the president of the General Assembly, Metro Kwano Charles, had to suspend the voting process for a while. And then after a while, when everything got to normal, he had to come up now and launch the voting exercise, which lasted for about 1 hour. And at the moment, they are trying to give their very first words after this brilliant election. The group led by Batonier Eric and the other 14 members of the Bar Council. And of course, a while ago, the nearest runner-up, which is Maître Memon Philippe, just congratulated the new bâtonnier for the victory, and of course promising that after everything, it was just an elections, and the two of them will go forth to work together, just like working along with other members of the Bar Council for the growth of the Cameroon Bar Association.
And that was Hyacinth who covered that event in the nation's capital. I think we should listen to the reaction of the new bâtonnier, and who talked immediately, or talked to journalists and reporters in the nation's capital immediately. He was declared the winner. Let's have a listen.
We have come to the end of a very vigorous election. An election during which a lot of punches were given below the belt, a lot of irregularities were done. We wish to say, like every other human endeavor, this was equally not a perfect process. It had its own shortcomings. We will only be able to promise that we will improve on them with the passage of time. Amen. I wish to call on each and every one of us that I do not stand here today as the winner of this election. I am just the representative of the bar, who is truly the winner of this election.
We have Parliament that has adopted 4 bills this Monday at the National Assembly. The bills authorizes the President of the Republic to ratify multilateral convention on social security of the Inter-African Conference, and 3 others on to revise the constitution of the African Civil Aviation Commission. The ministers of social security and the Minister of Transport defended the bills in Parliament today. Beatrice Gamo was there and put together the following report.
The need to increase the guaranteed interprofessional minimum wage of workers, progress in satisfying teachers' demand, insurance coverage, social security concerns, from parliamentarians to the Minister of Labour and Social Security during the general debate this morning.
Your Excellency, the beneficiaries of Social Security under this scheme will wish to know reasons for the delay in the implementation of these lofty policies by the head of state to better the life of all workers in the private sector.
What is the minister doing to ensure that the people at the level of his ministry go around these companies, verify if the workers are being treated fairly?
Monsieur le ministre, qu'est-ce que vous faites pour interdire réellement le travail des enfants?
Grégoire Wona explains in details measures and actual situation.
Nous avons tout un programme.
We have a program in the ministry to follow up through associations and organizations, and the International Labour Organization is helping us on that, so that child labor should be banned by 2025 in Cameroon.
Au Cameroun.
Can the private sector dare into air transport business? The list is long.
The toll gate and Barbayo, and the problem of making permanent speed dictators on a road which in 1 or 2, 3 years will become obsolete.
Jean-Ernest Massina Ngale-Bibehe explains the private actors are invited. Occasion for him to also shed more light on investigation ongoing concerning the Bibe crash that claimed some 11 lives. Luckily, he adds, the 2 black boxes have been found and is helping.
Nous avons 60 jours.
We have 60 days to supply the first temporary report between 15 to the 31st of July.
Et le 31 juillet.
The contents of 4 bills adopted this Monday at the National Assembly. The bill authorizing the President of the Republic to ratify multilateral convention on sectoral on social security of the Inter-African Conference on Social Security, to revise the constitution of the African Civil Aviation Commission. Deliberations chaired first by the senior Deputy House Speaker Hilarion Etong and later the Vice President Théophile Baoro.
And then we take you to the west region of Cameroon, where a man is reported to have killed his wife in cold blood. The reasons for his acts are still not clear, but it is reported he has always been maltreating and beating his wife, and the mother of two is said to have stayed because of her children. Let's have the details with Morindi.
Another scene of domestic violence in Banka, in Bafang, in the west region of Cameroon, cost the life of a 23-year-old mother, Olan Mahiva. The young mother was killed in the presence of her two kids by a man she had spent part of her life with. The scene happens in a bedroom, and cries from inside alerted her neighbors, who came rushing to her rescue. But it was too late. The man had already butchered the wife. Mahiva was found in her own pool of blood. I went out to buy bread. When I heard cries coming from her home, I quickly ran back and knocked at the door. I hit the door so hard that the man opened the door, but rushed out and ran away. He had blood all over his body. I went inside and met my friend in her own pool of blood. I called my husband for us to take her to the hospital, but it was already late. Mahiva died. According to her neighbors, Mahiva was constantly beaten by her husband. His last punch on her left her on a hospital bed, but she kept resisting for the sake of her kids. She returned from the hospital, but this time around it was a machete that ended her life. Her two kids watched the scene helplessly. This scene happened in Donga Quarter, Block 6 in the Banka subdivision. Elements of the gendarmerie were on the spot and immediately opened investigations. The entire neighborhood is in tears.
And we talk World Refugee Day observed this June 20. It has been observed that Cameroon in 2021 had 936,767 internally displaced persons. Amongst them, 357,631 were displaced by Boko Haram abuses in the far north region, 226,708 and 120,834 by insecurity in the northwest and southwest regions, respectively. And according to the Cameroon Human Rights Commission, most of those who fled Cameroon as a result of insecurity have requested for asylum in other countries, such as in France, Germany, Morocco, Greece, the United States, Belgium, Italy, Ghana, Niger, and South Africa. And with several refugees also coming into Cameroon from neighboring countries such as Nigeria, the Central African Republic, and Chad, the Commission has commended the hospitality and generosity of Cameroonians towards refugees, asylum seekers, and displaced persons since 2013 and their integration into communities of host populations. The National Commission for Human Rights has to that effect also appreciated measures taken by the Cameroon government to promote and protect the rights of refugees, asylum seekers, and displaced persons, including signing of conventions, medical assistance, the unconditional enrollment of IDPs into secondary schools, and peaceful efforts in certain communities that has led to the return of more than 120,000 IDPs in the far north region in 2020, voluntary repatriation of 425 Nigerians in February 2021, and 369 others in March same year. The Commission notes that the state needs more assistance in managing refugees. And it is with that note that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscasts in the English language on Canal the International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 by Aimé Catherine Mokuri. I will be yours again same time tomorrow, but then stay tuned to programs on Canal the International. Bye-bye.